Hi, in this lecture we will learn how to debug in Talend and how to look for errors in our code. So let's start. First we need to add new job under extra job folder and name it debug. Second, we need to build a standard job with the components we already met in our course. So add 4 components to the designer: t-row generator, t-map, t-filter row, and t-log row. Now let's configure each one of them. So double click on t-row generator. And here we need to add 4 columns: name, points, defensive rebound, and offensive rebound, when name is string and all the others are integer. Now we need to set the function. So for name, choose Talend data generator get first name, and for all the others we are choosing numeric.random, when for points mean value is -5 and max value is 50. For defensive rebound, mean value is -3 and max value is 20. And for offensive rebound, mean value is 2 and max value is 10. Make sure that the number of rows for generator is 100 and you can click OK. Hi guys, if you like this content and you find it useful, I leave a link in the description for my full course. Not too long and very practical for Talend beginners. You don't need any prior knowledge, so I hope to see you there, and until then, have fun. Now connect the t-row generator to the t-map with the main connection and double click the t-map. In the t-map editor on the right side, add new output with a green plus and path all the columns from the input to the output. Here we have 2 columns to add to our output: ID and sum rebounds. For ID, add columns, name it ID and its type is integer. For value, click on the 3 dots and choose for numeric sequence, when the first num is 1 and it increases by 1 for each row, and click OK. Make sure the ID is above all the other columns by clicking the up arrow in the output table. And the last column is sum rebounds and its value is defensive rebound plus offensive rebound. Verify your table by take a look on the types and see that only the name is type string and all the others are integer, and click OK. Now connect the t-map row to the t-filter row with the output we created, and we are looking for players who made double-double, and it means that they have more than 10 points or equals to, and more than 10 rebounds and equals to. So double click the t-filter row to configure it. The logical operator we are using is AND, and we have 2 conditions. So add 2 rows and choose for input columns sum rebounds and points. For both of them the function is empty and the operator is greater or equals to when the value is 10. After we configure it, connect the t-filter row to the t-log row with a filter connection, and in the t-log row sync column and choose the table mode, and we can run the job. And you can see that we get all the player that has a double-double, more than 10 points and more than 10 rebounds, but there is players that their offensive rebound is negative number and it's impossible statistic rows. So let's look for them. Now in this job it's very easy to understand why it's happened, but I'm sure you will have much complicated jobs and the debug can help you to solve it. So let's cover it. Click on the debug run, and here we can see that we have 2 options: the Java debug, which is the regular debug in Java, and the trace debug. We are covering the trace debug. So when we are clicking on debug run, you can see that we have magnifying glass on each connection in our designer. If we are double clicking on the magnifying glass, we see the setup trace and we can choose which column we want to display in this connection. So click OK. Now you can right click on the magnifying glass and see that there is 3 options that's available for us. First, it's disable trace and not display anything in this connection. Second is the setup trace, what we already see if we are double clicking the magnifying glass, and show breakpoint setup, and we will cover it later. So first let's right click the magnifying glass between the t-filter row and the t-log row and set up trace and take off the sum rebounds and click OK. And for the magnifying glass between the t-map and the t-filter row, we are doing disable trace because we don't need to display anything here. Now we can trace debug. And you can see that we see all the rows that pass through the components, and we can pause and resume it. So for now, let's kill it, clear, and see the next options. The next option is by clicking next, and that's over each row in our data, and every next or previous, we can see the rows that coming. And it's very easy to debug like this, but actually it's not possible if we have a big amount of data. If we have million rows, it's impossible to cover each one of them. And for this kind of situation, we have the breakpoint. So show breakpoint setup, right clicking the magnifying glass and then show breakpoint setup. Active conditional breakpoints, let's check it. And logical operator used to combine condition, I prefer to configure it after I configure the conditions. So in the condition, we have 3 input columns, and it points, defensive rebound and offensive rebound. For all of them, the function is empty, the operator is lower than, and the value is 0 because we are looking for negative number. And now we understand that the logical operator is OR because it's enough if one of them is negative number, it makes the statistic row impossible. So let's go to run. Let's click on kill and click next. And now we can click on breakpoints, and it runs until it finds one of the breakpoint condition. And you can see now it's the offensive rebound, now it's point, and go on. If we have more complicated condition that use OR and AND together, we can click on use advanced mode, and then you can write code every condition you want. You can see a very simple example here, and that's it. So it's very important to debug our code and see how to find our error, and I'm sure you will find it very usable. In the next lecture, we will learn on t-run job and see how to run one job in other job and to pass the context between them. Until then, bye-bye.